Welcome back. Well, phase 3 of the elections is over. Voting took place today on 93 constituencies across 10 states and a union territory, which means that we're halfway through the election.
Absolutely.
More than half the seats have polled now.
Let me go across to our guest, Rohit Chandavarkar, who's a senior journalist from Maharashtra. We have Sanjay Kumar, psephologist and professor, CSTS. We have Neerja Chaudhary, senior journalist and author. We have Clyde Crasto, spokesperson of the NCP. We also have Mahima Singh, who's the spokesperson of the Congress, and Shaina NC, BJP spokesperson. Shaina, tell me, how important is this phase and what are the prospects of your party? Because last time your party won 78 of the 93 seats that polled today. But clearly the situation is very different this time. The Prajwal Revanna case in Karnataka, Maharashtra is, a closed book and nobody really seems to understand which way the wind is blowing. So what are your expectations from this phase of elections?
Vasudha and Gargi, let me tell you with utmost confidence that the Bharatiya Janata Party will do even better than what it did last time. Let's not forget, there are lots of people who talk about anti-incumbency. This is the first time in the history of India that you have a pro-incumbency. And that is purely because of the magical work that our Honorable Prime Minister has done. I think that if you look at it objectively, 283 of the 543 seats have polled so far. And this is not about big faces or constituencies which are pro-BJP. This is about the larger work that we have done under the Prime Minister's leadership for the Labhartis. If you take, for example, 55 crore people who have got 5 lakh in Ayushman Bharat, or 11 crore Ujjwala gas cylinders, or 13 crore toilets which have been built, the 25 crore people from below poverty line who have increased and come out of that zone, and the focus of the Prime Minister on infrastructure at large. Infrastructure which has percolated down to every single state. Now, you talked about Maharashtra. Look at the kind of development here, whether it's our highways, our railways, our airports, or basic roads and facilities. Metros, the list is endless. Look at the kind of development that you have seen across the length and breadth of our country. So I am very, very clear that some people are on a mission like Prime Minister Modi, some people are on destruction mode. And as our Prime Minister has said repeatedly, he doesn't believe in deadlines. He believes in deadlines that actually make a headline. And the others only believe in headlines which are their deadline. So I think there is a reverse in the philosophy of a party that believes in nation first and gives stability and wants to continue to work towards a Viksit Bharat for 2047. And my last sentence being that when an economy that we took over from 11 to number 5 and heading towards number 3, and the kind of work and accolade world over for Bharat as a desh is only a jhalak of the Viksit Bharat 2047.
Right, Shaina, it's interesting that you spoke so much about the achievements and developments of the country, but on the campaign front, in the rallies, we don't see the Prime Minister or BJP leaders talking so much about this, and that's what the opposition is saying, that there's nervousness, and that's why, the pivot has been towards issues like Muslim quota, wealth distribution, inheritance tax. The Prime Minister even talking about, vote for Ram Raja or vote jihad. So these are the kind of issues being raised which the opposition is pointing out.
Gargi, I think you've made a tactical error there, because Ram Rajya or the belief in Lord Ram is a very spiritual connect of crores of Indians. So there is no question of politicizing this issue. For those who have tried to politicize even the constitution, for example, saying that, Modi ji will come and the constitution will be changed, they don't even understand that of the 108 amendments which were done, 106, 80 were those of the Congress party. We only amended where it was a triple talaq or an abrogation of 370 or Nari Shakti Vandan. So all this is the reality versus perception, which is known to the public, and that public is going to vote for the Bharatiya Janata Party, and you will see it on June 4th.
Right. Mahima Singh, let me ask you, how your party leaders actually raised very complex issues like X-ray, wealth redistribution. The manifesto became a point of discussion for many days. It was, I think, released on the 5th of April, but for over 30 days, more than that, that was the central point of political discourse here. Do you think that the party leaders and the party could have actually used simple issues rather than making it about complex issues? Because the Prime Minister, when he talks about Mangal Sutra and says that every person's wealth is going to get redistributed, it could be scaremongering, but at the same time, these are elections, and this might amount to you losing some of your voters.
Jai Hind. Vasudha, as much as the BJP tried very hard to instill fear amongst the society, it is actually the BJP today that's trembling with fear, because the winds of change have ushered in, and they have been ushered in today, especially by Haryana, by the state of Haryana, even before going for polls. You see, it was third phase, many states were going to poll, but Haryana has actually toppled the BJP government, and the rest of the states which went for polls today voted against the BJP, and I'll tell you why. You pointed out issues. You said that we complicated, we did not talk about issues. I'd rather say that our 5 Nyay 25 guarantee is as simple as it gets. And the BJP, when it talks about, you see, NEET paper has been leaked. It just came out today. Before I come to the 3-point agenda that I want to talk about, busting the BJP's lies, I am prompted to say here that the BJP spokesperson just said that we are spreading lies that the BJP or Mr. Narendra Modi want to change the constitution. It is rather their leaders. And the latest one is Diya Kumari, Deputy CM of Rajasthan, who have said that we want utmost majority, 400, 400 par, so that we can change the constitution. Now, coming to my 3-point agenda, you said wealth redistribution, inheritance tax, and Muslim reservation. Now, let me, one by one, let me just tell you. Wealth redistribution, the BJP has talked about it, and not the Congress, never the Congress. BJP has talked about it and guaranteed it to the country in their manifestos of 1996 and 1999. Coming to the Muslim reservation, it is the BJP that stands with parties like that has arisen like TDP in, Andhra Pradesh, where TDP's poll promise is that they will preserve 4% Muslim reservation. Congress has never even used the word Muslim in their manifesto. It is rather the BJP in their manifesto. You will find the mention of the word once. And last point. Yes. Inheritance tax. Again, inheritance tax has been endorsed by their former ministers like Mr. Arun Jaitley and Jayant Sinha. Congress's manifesto is very clear and palatable for a common man, and that is why India is clearly winning. 4th of June, we are going to stand victorious, and India is going to win.
All right, well, all that we'll find out on the 4th of June. But bringing back, the subject of Karnataka, Maharashtra and Gujarat, I'd like to go across now to Sanjay Kumar ji. And this particular phase of elections, as Vasudha had said, 78 of the 93 seats went to the BJP last time around. Your assessment this time around, given how the situation has changed, in Karnataka, will this sex tape horror have any impact, given how no one can call what's happening in Maharashtra? Gujarat, of course, does seem something that one can, predict about, but yes.
If you look at all the 7 phases of poll, this was the phase which is the strongest phase for the BJP, if you go by the past performance of BJP and the allies in the 2019 elections. In this phase, BJP's vote share, average BJP's vote share is roughly about 47-46%. And if you compare it with the overall vote share of BJP in 2019, it was 37%. So it's a 10% higher support base for BJP in this phase of election. BJP has a lot to defend. The entire state of Gujarat has gone to poll today, and half of Karnataka has gone to poll. And the entire Gujarat was with BJP in 2019, and half of the Karnataka which went to poll today was with BJP. So BJP has a lot to defend. Gujarat, I'm pretty sure that BJP is not facing much challenge. It might return the same kind of electoral dividends to BJP as it did in 2019. But yes, given the events which has unfolded in Karnataka, and also remember Karnataka now it has a Congress government in the state. So BJP is definitely facing some challenge in Karnataka. To what extent, how much BJP could lose? Certainly they cannot increase the tally because they had won 25 seats in the last Lok Sabha election, and this time they are contesting only 25 along with their allies JDS, which is contesting three seats. So Karnataka, it's a challenge. I think we should wait till 4th June to figure out how big was the challenge to BJP in Karnataka.
Right. Neerja ji, it looks like the turnout might be subdued this time too. And it's very easy to conclude that this could be a waveless elections, but this happens every time. As a political reporter, I tell you, every time people say that it's a localized election, but then the results come and we realize that there was a wave. So what does it take to recognize a wave, and how can we say that there is a wave or there isn't one?
I think one indicator of a wave would be large voter turnout, people being enthusiastic to come out and vote. And in the three phases that we are seeing, there is a slump of 4 to 5% compared to the 2019 figures. So that is an indication that people are a little more apathetic. Maybe they are not coming out because it's been such a buzz that the BJP is coming back to power for a third term. And therefore the Karyakarta hasn't got out, others haven't gotten out to vote. But it could also be that some people are confused. Some people say there's much more dissatisfaction being expressed this time in different states. There is a little more of takkar also this time. Again, when you look at 2019 and compare it with it.
Right.
So Maharashtra, for instance, which is a very critical state, because we are all trying to decode Maharashtra, because two parties of the ruling alliance,
That's right.
the two parties have split, NCP and Shiv Sena. One side is gone and taken large chunks of the MLAs with them. And yet the sympathy factor seems to remain.
Talking
with
about
Uddhav
Maharashtra, let
Thackeray
me
and
just
Sharad
get in
Pawar.
Clyde here.
Right, who's
Clyde,
been waiting very patiently.
Yes, thank you for waiting. And so you belong to the Shiv Sena, NCP that's led by Sharad Chandra Pawar. How important is this phase of polls for you? Because Baramati is where this nation's attention was, but at the same time for the NCP and for Sharad Chandra Pawar and for Ajit Pawar, this is going to be so foundational to their journeys. How is the Karyakarta of an NCP looking at this battle?
Thank you, Vasudha and Gargi. I thought for just about me in this. I've been sitting here since 8 o'clock. It's okay. So your question is very valid. If you look at what has been happening since yesterday, see, this has been pitted as power versus power fight. Okay, but I don't look at it that way. I look at it in a way that there is Supriya Sule, okay, who's serving this constituency for years. She's been a Sansad Ratna and worked hard for the people of Baramati. And there's another side, another lady who has just been brought into this whole foray to fight against somebody of their own. So this is a doing of the Bharatiya Janata Party. They broke parties, they broke families, and this is what is going on. Two things I'd like to quickly tell you, and I hope you give me time. There is one thing which was, I was listening to Milind Deva earlier, and I wish I was on air. I would have given him a point-to-point rebuttal in everything that he was saying, because he was trying to, be nice to the party that gave him a Rajya Sabha seat for free. Secondly, I kept listening to what the BJP spokesperson was saying, and we've done this, we've done that. But, China seems to be the only BJP leader and spokesperson who's been talking about what they've done, but including the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister around the Maharashtra that he's been going around across the country does not talk about the kind of work they've done. They're only talking about Machli, Muslim, Mangasutta and all those things. China, why do you always butt in when I start talking? China, why do you always butt in when I start talking? What's the problem? Why do you butt in when I'm talking?
Because you're not talking the truth.
No, you are not talking the
China,
truth.
let him complete what he's saying. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr.
Let me tell you the truth.
Yes, Mr. Clyde Craster, just go ahead.
You spoke, the BJP spokesperson spoke about, politicizing the Lord Ram. I was born and I grew up in the same vicinity as China. And we are in a vicinity where Lord Ram, there's legend that Lord Ram visited that place and we grew up there. For us, Lord Ram is an Astha. The Bharatiya Janata Party has politicized Lord Ram. Since childhood we say Jai Shri Ram is pride, but they have politicized it. So the point here is politicization of Lord Ram is done by the Bharatiya Janata Party. Don't bring it out into the mainstream, because people have begun to understand what is going on. The Bharatiya Janata Party has no agenda. Therefore, they are trying to digress the whole topic and taking it away from us. But the people have begun to realize. I'm telling you what's happening in Baramati. Since yesterday, it's on record, on video. Money is being distributed. People are being threatened to come out to vote if they vote for Mr. Supriya Sule. All this is on record.
What other nonsense?
All right, well, let Ms. Shaina NC respond to that, and Rohit Chandavarkar will just come to you. But yes, Shaina NC respond.
You butt in. What is your problem? Why are you so afraid of me? The minute I start talking, you start
Gargi,
butting in.
Right, Rasta, you've made several claims. Let China
time-
quickly
Why is she butting in all the
respond to
time?
that, and then we also have Rohit Chandravarkar
many
waiting.
things.
The minute I start talking
Every
across all
time-
debates, she starts digressing my point.
You know,
She starts to interject. What is
every
she afraid
time
of?
they have no
I
rebuttal,
don't-
every
I
time
don't
they
do it.
have no rebuttal,
Every time
they'll
she
talk
talks, I
about
don't do it.
EVMs. Every time they have no rebuttal, they will say that,
the
oh,
Prime
we are
Minister, your
breaking
leader,
communal
Mr. Narendra
harmony. If
Modi,
at all,
talks
we are
about
working
Muslim,
towards
Bachi,
a stronger
Mangalsutra,
Viksit
all
Bharat and a
kinds of
better
nonsense
India.
that
They
go
are
on.
the ones who have
I
made
think
a
so
big
it's
Clive
my
Rasta,
argument.
please just
The
give a moment. Let her
Dalits and the
respond to what
Muslims
you
have been
said.
their
No,
vote bank for the
when I
longest
was
time.
talking
This
and
is
she
not
was
fair.
rebutting, you were not saying anything. No?
Gargi,
Point is
Vasudha,
that
allow me a
you
rebuttal.
allowed me to finish my
Mr.
point.
Clive,
Can
you
I
have
just
to let her
complete my
speak now.
point?
You've had your chance.
But why did you
Shana,
not
please
allow
go
me
on.
to finish my point? That's the point. Why did you allow
Okay.
me to finish my point?
Okay, you
All right,
made
quickly
you
finish
made a
your
lot of
point.
points. Let her finish now.
I mean,
The
I wait from 8
opposition-
o'clock, then I start talking, and the minute I stop, China comes in, you don't
Vasudha?
stop him.
Okay,
If this is
Shana,
going
please
to be
continue.
Vasudha?
Please go ahead. Make your point.
Gargi, if you look, the opposition has only played vote bank politics and appeasement politics. We know what they have done with the Muslims and the Dalits of this country, tried to keep them just as a vote bank. When the Prime Minister works for Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Prayas, it is not just a tagline. It is to make sure that every community is assimilated. People are given respect. Was a triple talaq about women's dignity and respect, or something else? When a Nari Shakti Vandan comes into being, it is about us getting an opportunity, an abrogation of 370 to assimilate Kashmir and make India strong. When you do all this good work, you have no comments, so you will talk about the constitution, you will talk about appeasement politics, you will talk about Tushtikaran ki Rajniti. Where has the Prime Minister spoken about the Ram Mandir as a political agenda? It is a fact that Indians and we Hindus have been apologetic about being the majority with a belief and a Sanskriti and a Sabhita which takes people along. This is not about disintegrating. This is about those people who are disrupting this narrative. And for those who want to wait for 4th of June, I want to tell you, this will be a historic victory for a man on a mission who has been the honest, hardworking Prime Minister of this country and really done work for the poorest of poor.
All right.
And if as an economy we are headed towards the 3rd largest in the world, this is something to be proud
All
of.
right,
for every
we'll
Indian.
get a
So don't
response from
distort the
Mahima
narrative
as well
with
as
what
Clive
about
Krastu,
tree.
but I'd really like to go across to Rohit Chandravarkar, who's been waiting very patiently, sir. So when we're talking about Maharashtra and how difficult it is to call given the splits in the parties that have taken place, there's talk of sympathy on the ground. We're seeing this fight in Baramati. What is your assessment? What is your reading so far of how the election is going?
Well, Gargi, taking off from where Neerja ji left, the narrative about Maharashtra, I think everybody knows here by now, and we've said it many times, that this happens to be the biggest swing state in India right now. It will make all the impact with 48 seats, whichever way most of them go. That is one. Secondly, just remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has held or is holding double the amount of rallies in Maharashtra compared to what he held in 2019 election. So he and his team and BJP realizes how important Maharashtra is. Coming to today's phase, voting has just ended a couple of hours, 3 hours ago. I think, it signifies, there are 4 constituencies which are very important to Sharad Pawar, at least 3 of them very important to Sharad Pawar, and one where the family prestige is at stake, Baramati, which have polled today. Baramati, Satara, Konkan, and Sangli. Sangli used to be a Congress bastion. Now there is a fight happening there. So these 4 constituencies, basically today's voting is about the agricultural issues in Maharashtra as far as I can see. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held 3 rallies in fact, in these regions, one in Pune district, Pune city, one in Maharashtra of Solapur, and another one around that area. And he spoke briefly about the agricultural issues, but he focused more on national issues in all these constituencies, giving an indication that the BJP may be very confident when it comes to presenting the, the development of infrastructure and other national issues like controlling terrorism and all those things. But when it comes to agrarian crisis or the issues of farmers, especially sugarcane farmers, onion farmers, etc., the BJP does not want to really get into that into detail. So the battle today was about these 2 pictures, one of Vikas, which the BJP is very confident about, and rightly so, the road infrastructure and airports in Maharashtra that have come up and all of that, versus the issues of the onion farmers. Maharashtra is the biggest onion producer in India. Maharashtra is second biggest sugarcane or sugar producer in India. So sugarcane farmers, onion farmers, their issues, the policy issues that they're facing, export ban on onions, etc., versus BJP's picture that they're presenting. So we need to now wait and see what happens in Baramati. The entire country is watching this Pawar versus Pawar fight in Baramati, and I don't agree with Clyde that this is not Pawar versus Pawar. This is very much Sharad Pawar versus Ajit Pawar fight, and it's going to be very close. Last point is, Congress, Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray, and Sharad Pawar, three members of the Mahavikas Aghadi have put their prestige at stake in the voting that has happened today. There have been some competitive clashes between them also, like the example of Sangli, etc. But a very interesting battle. All I can say is it's going to be a very close fight in most of the constituencies in Maharashtra.
Sanjay, would you say that there is an absence of a pan-India narrative this time? Because 2019, I remember very clearly, either it was Balakot or Congress's Nyay, but I'm unable to find a thread of, a common theme for parties this time.
No, I would agree. BJP wanted this election to be contested on a big, larger narrative of nationalism, or at least they wanted a big national narrative. That doesn't seem to be happening. And if you travel from state to state, and even within the state, if you travel from one constituency to another, you would figure out that the election has become far more localized compared to what it looked like maybe a couple of months ago. So I fully agree with what you have already said.
That's right. Neerja ji, let's talk about Karnataka and, the scandal, this sex tape horror that has taken place. How much of an impact do you think that is having on what, on the election that took place today? Because, while we may, outrage about it in all our news studios, etc., one doesn't know what the voter is thinking on the ground.
That's right. And of course, the JDS's constituencies have already had elections. The scam broke after that. So in that sense, they were lucky, or the timing of that whole scam is a very curious political development, that apart. But I think it could have some impact on the women voters. The election today is mainly in the Lingayat belt. And this time round, the BJP got its act together by giving Mr. Yedura Rappa, very tall Lingayat leader, who was sidelined in the assembly election, a free hand in the distribution of tickets. So they pleased him, he had his way, and also it was a sop to the Lingayat community. So they're expecting Lingayats to vote for them en masse virtually. So I think whether it just something will rub off of this scandal on the BJP also because of his alliance, I don't think much will. Except, as I say, the women voters may well get affected, and this time the Congress has gone out of its way to get the sympathy and the support of the women.
Sanjay, quickly from you, how important is Karnataka for the BJP, because it's also the gateway to the south of India?
No, it is important, as I mentioned earlier, that BJP had won 25 seats in 2019, and this time BJP is contesting 25. So it is very important for BJP to retain if they actually want to achieve the target of 300 plus. So it is important for BJP.
Right, absolutely. Clyde, across to you, a final word to you, since you feel we did interrupt you earlier, and again everybody talking about how it's difficult to call Maharashtra and how Baramati is also going to be a tough fight.
Well, sorry about that little bit of a fiery thing, but Shaina and I always end up, like this. It's okay, I'm sorry to all the guys in the panel. But the fact is, Baramati, like we keep talking about, like Rohit said, he doesn't agree with me. Fair enough, he's a friend, so he has his own thing to say. But point here is, this is an election which everybody keeps talking about, 4th of June. Let me tell you something. This is going to be what happened in 2004, is that, India's shining moment that BJP turned where the sun set on them. It's going to happen again in 2024. I mean, they're in for a rude shock, and people of India are there for a very pleasant surprise that they're going to come into, because in the ground, we know what is going on, and it's not what the BJP says. It's not going to be a kibar 400 par. They are going to struggle. I mean, I'm not saying, that, they're not going to win at all or lose at all, nothing like that. But they're definitely not going to be a kibar.
All right. Well, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much all for joining us on the program today. And Clyde Crasto talking about, the silent voter. And I think maybe opposition being very optimistic there. We don't know. We'll find out on the 4th of June.